Hey Perpetual fans, it's your boy Lync from Imagé Perpetual Photography and Graphics out here in Jamaica. And I just want to say, yesterday I was pounced upon by a security guard telling me that it is not within my constitutional rights to be in a public space and have my DSLR with my telephoto lens attached to it and out there photographing birds, because that's what I was there for. I was there to photograph hummingbirds. I have a collection of hummingbird photos, but I saw something a couple weeks ago when I was there and it was special and I wanted that moment, right? So I went back there for a client meetup and then I decided to stay a little bit and see if I can get that one special shot I've been searching for. Right? Now, the security guard, she came across and she immediately pounced upon me telling me I cannot have the camera. She never asked what I was doing, what I was photographing, which is not her right anyway, because it's a public space owned by the government. And I'm talking about a place that is owned by the government and is known for ice cream. Right? Now, I typically photograph anything that is an interesting subject, so it can be a landscape, a seascape, people, sports, animals. Thus, I kind of say my style of photographing is more like a photojournalist. So I operate within the laws that dictate or hold precedence over journalists, right? And according to the Code of Practice for Jamaican Journalists and media organizations, I have a right to be in a public space and photograph whatever I feel like. I was not out there harassing anybody. I wasn't stalking anybody. I was not even there. I wasn't even there for the people. You know, I was just there sitting on the bench, waiting for the birds to come down so I could actually get that shot I dreamed weeks about. Right? So let me read something from the Code of Practice for Jamaican Journalists and Media Organizations, and this will speak to tell you the rights or some of the ethical standards that should be held up by journalists and media personalities. Right? It says, the role of the press. All members of the press have a duty to maintain the highest professional and ethical standards. This code sets the benchmarks for those standards. The code protects the right of the individual and upholds the public right to know. This code is a cornerstone of the system of self-regulation to which the industry is committed. It is essential to the working of the agreed code that it be honored not only to the letter but in full spirit. The code should not be interpreted so narrowly as to compromise its commitment to respect the rights of the individual, nor so broadly that it prevents publication in the public interest. We Jamaican publishers, broadcasters and journalists believe that the rights of freedom of expression and freedom to receive and impart information are fundamental rights of all human beings. And two, the agencies of mass communication, private and public, are carriers for public information, opinion, decisions essential to give practical effect to the right of freedom of expression and right of all individuals to access information. Those rights carry obligations that require media organizations to represent and reflect the public interest at all times, and journalists to perform their professional duties with intelligence, objectivity, accuracy, and fairness. So when I'm out there in public space, this is the code that I operate by. And I seek to do my professional duties with intelligence, objectivity, accuracy, and fairness. And I was out there yesterday, as I said, just to shoot hummingbirds. That's it. I don't know how I violated the privacy of the hummingbirds so as to be addressed by the security staff who is employed by the management of the ice cream selling house in Jamaica. But when you actually read under section 2 of the code, it says privacy, intrusion and inquiries into an individual's private life without his or her consent, including the use of long lens photography to take pictures of people on private property without their consent, are not generally acceptable, and publication can only be justified by clear overriding public interest. So if I was there on public property and I wanted to take still life shots of a bench that was there, you have no right to tell me I cannot do that. Right? You have no right. That's not within your constitutional right to say anything to me. I was there by free will on public property to photograph hummingbirds. It's not your right, and it's not your job to say or come across to me and say anything. Now, the only reason yesterday I stood down from not going toe-to-toe in a full-out argument with that guard, with that lady, security guard, female, was because there was some students visiting from Texas, a well-known Texas university, and they were there, and we were just talking up. I was just telling them that I was in Texas just last year, September, and we were just having a good time just talking and, sharing experiences. And when, out of the blue, the security came, and I just never wanted my country to be portrayed in a negative manner at all. So I didn't argue because it's pointless, right? So I just basically just packed my camera up and I left. But I intend to actually take a printout of this, right? Also with a printout of facts that's on their website that states that they are a publicly owned entity to them, and let them allow them to understand that they have no rights to tell any photographer, any journalist, anybody at all, whether you're an amateur or professional like myself, you don't have any right to tell anybody that they cannot photograph, because it's not your right to do so. You are not the law and you're not of the law. That's just my say in the whole matter. And I think it's time for people to wise up with so much information out there. There's a wide amount of information out there, and it's right at your fingertips, right? You can go on the internet and search for anything you need to know, right? Get it from a credible source, and you can have your information, quotes, make quotes, and present findings of relevant and valid information. Right? So, again, it's your boy Lync, just signing out. Until that time again, happy shooting.